Hello, William Mead here, 1799. Glad you come around. Like this video, share it, subscribe, leave a comment. First Amendment rights are yours. I want to get into this a little bit differently here. We've all heard about the Supreme Court's decisions and how the Democrat organization, or you call them a party, and Rhino Republicans too, have all attacked the Supreme Court. Actually, Clarence Thomas, by the way. The media, which is MSNBC and many other news outlets, are in the pockets of these politicians, so whatever these politicians want the media to do, they run out there and they do it. Whether it's to spread lies or stories or whatever it may be that they want done. Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice, ruled in a factor of the Second Amendment. Plus he did other rulings too, but mostly in the Second Amendment. And he dived into it pretty here after hearing oral arguments from the GOA, which the Democrat Party would like to see a GOA disbanded if they could do it. But anyway, the GOA, who made their oral arguments to Clarence Thomas and so forth, and between the New York Rifle Association and the Attorney General of New York, which gave us this decision we're dealing with now. To make a long story short, he went right through Federalist Papers. He read the Constitution, he read what the founders wrote, he read what they were intent of doing, and by dissecting the Federalist Papers and why the Second Amendment was put in place is why he made his ruling based on why people should have the right to defend themselves. So when you carry a firearm, you have the right to do so because the Constitution gives you that right to do so. But thanks to the Democratic Party and their little rats that they got running around spreading lies and rumors, MSNBC made a statement. And Clarence Thomas is one of the most corrupt justices in American history. Now, that statement only says a lot, right? Stop for 1 minute. Anybody who crosses the Democratic Party will get obliterated politically. Anyone who crosses the Democrat Party will get obliterated completely. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's why Rhino Republicans need a Democratic Party, because they need their help so they can stay in their chairs. Tulsi Gabbard was also, I hope I'm spelling her name, Tulsi Gabbard, on the Donald Trump indictment. She wanted to talk to Donald Trump. And again, she got blasted by the party and by Mitt Romney, who accused her of treason. They're pretty high words. Alright, that's pretty tough words for a person who wears a uniform, fights for this country. And you got some political politician clowns been up there for so long calling her treasonous, which carries a death penalty, by the way. But I'm not going to that point. Because Clarence Thomas ruled on the Second Amendment the way he did, the political politicians who had control and were pushing for more control were set back on their backsides because Clarence Thomas made his ruling that people had the right to defend themselves and carry a firearm. After that, there has been relentless attacks on the justice himself, plus relentless attacks on the Supreme Court itself, and relentless attacks on law-abiding citizens. From ammunition to background checks, ammunition to filling out 4373s to you name it, they've been slamming it to us, and it's been countless Almost over 400 or 500 new gun laws have propped up, and yet more are still coming. They want to ban everything. They're getting the state, who are controlled by Democrats, controlled by running Republicans, to push for these outrageous gun controls, to ban the AR-15, to ban ammunition, to ban this, to ban that, and it doesn't stop. Why? What is all this reason for? What was the purpose? Look at China. China does not believe in religion. China does not believe in people showing firearms. China believes that you have no rights. Well, this is going to sound kind of strange, but you listen to the Democratic organization and these Republicans, it almost sounds the same. 40% of Democrats believe you have too much freedom and liberty. 38 to 37% believe, on the Republican side, believe the same thing. These are people that were elected, put in office to represent you. Instead, we pay organizations to represent us because they don't do that. Now, because Clarence Thomas ruled that way, they are now so angry with the Supreme Court, they're saying, we're not going to obey the Supreme Court, we're going to do what we want. So they file all these more laws and all these more crazy fines and charges somewhere else, and outrageous training and need be. The Supreme Court rules, no, you can't do that. That violates the Second Amendment. No, you can't do this. It violates the Second Amendment. Do that. It violates the Second Amendment under Bruen or under Heller. So the Democrats have decided, you know what, we need to change the Supreme Court. The reason for that is power. It's just the same thing. It's all about power. We want power. We want to control you, the American people. Your Bill of Rights to us is meaningless because we will tell you what your rights are. That's why these red flag laws are all over the place. Under the old system, on the Bill of Rights, someone makes a false accusation or gets you arrested or put in jail, whatever, you have a right to file a charge against that individual and have that individual arrested, right? On the red flag laws, you can't do that. Is that a violation of the Bill of Rights? Yes, it is. But again, the state's thumb their nose up at the Supreme Court. They tell others that they thumb their nose at the Supreme Court. They just do what the hell they want. So what's the sense of having the Supreme Court for? So it only works for you and not everybody else? The Supreme Court is a balance of power between the people and their government. And it has to remain neutral. They don't want neutral. They want one side only, their side. They want to control the Supreme Court. They want the Supreme Court to make their decisions law against you, the American people. 56 able-bodied men put their name on a document, their honor, their finances, their wealth, and their blood on a Declaration of Independence to fight for your freedom. My freedom, everybody's freedom. Because they knew someday they're going to have to deal with this. Today, it's just a wall tapestry. The only time the Democrats want to look at the Constitution is, well, looks pretty. But we have our own idea of what the Constitution, we want our own idea of what we want to make. So we have more power over you. They like the way other countries treat their people. They want the same thing here. And they're not going to stop till they get it. They're going to make every law there is. They're going to tell you, well, sporting rifles, that's everything. Now it's an AR-15. Oh, now, but it's still a sporting rifle. So that's your lever action rifle, your bolt action rifle, your pump shotguns. And then we'll go into handguns too. Your semi-automatic handguns, your revolver handguns. We want one to go down to a single shot 22 if we can, may not. But we want to tell you, call law enforcement, they'll be right there. You don't need to defend yourself. We got to cut all this gun violence out. Thomas realized this. That's why when he went through all this, he also put in his mind, he said, this shouldn't be this way. Because the founders didn't want it this way. Through our history of this country, we've always had the right to defend ourselves. But these politicians nowadays don't believe in that. They believe that you're a threat. You want to run a militia. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to threaten the federal government. Oh, we feel threatened. Any government who lies, cheats, or steals or threatens to use physical force against any citizen or American people is a government to itself, for itself, and by itself. A true government of the people will not threaten, steal, lie, or even try to disarm. But that is a point too. Because any time of crisis, the people will go to their government and say, what do they need of us, and we shall provide. And the Second World War is a classic example of just that. Those people in Washington, and their phone lines were burning up because they want to know, what do you need of us? What do you need of us? Recruiting stations were just swamped with people wanting to get into the war to help to stop the Axis. You won't be able to get that today because you have a government that's solely for itself. They'll lie to you, they'll cheat to you, they'll steal from you. Now they want to disarm you and even threaten you with disarmament. Your rights came from what God intended, freedom. There's a monument out there, somewheres out there in Europe, where a bunch of men under Leonidas, I think his name is, 300, fought for their freedom. Wallace, another great fighter, fought for freedom. Our 56 signers fought for our freedom. Now it's being subjected and taken away, laughed at, mocked at by these politicians. Clarence Thomas did what he did, thought was right. Him and the rest of the justices, because they read the papers. They read what was there. They understood, because those 56 signers grew up in a time where King George looked at the colonists as the lowest form of life in the entire British Empire. And that's why Clarence Thomas did what he did. The right to defend themselves, the right to be who you are. The Second Amendment is just not there for that one reason. It's there for a lot of reasons. And that's why he did what he did. But now they want to attack him. They want to drag him down. They want to make him look like the worst guy is, so they can get somebody else up there to overturn everything he did. Just like they did with Trump. Overturn it all. Put us right back in the worst position we want to be, as slaves. You don't want that. That's why it's there. For your rights to defend yourselves, the right to defend against the government that goes against you, or an outside force comes in against you. And look at the guy at the south border wall doing the same thing. Not wall. I'll just call it south border. Think about what they're doing. Hammer these senators and congressmen so they don't go crazy. Till then, keep your friends and family close, and do not be afraid to defend yourselves. And have some prayers for Clarence Thomas, because he's going to need a lot of them. And even back him up, because he'll need that too. Till then, Catch you around.